Gilgit-Baltistan over the top, and next time I come to Sindh or to Punjab, I will be cursed there. But from an objective point of view, I think, and I'm not alone here, I remember the Prime Minister being full of praise of the beauty and attractiveness of the landscape. The development of Pakistan to alleviate people from poverty, to contribute to socio-economic progress. It's not that much that, you know, the main purpose is to transfer, you know, German wisdom or expertise, if there is any, to foreign countries.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to IBEX Media Network. I am host Faheem Akhtar. Today we have a special guest, ambassador to Pakistan from Germany, His Excellency Mr. Bernhard Schleghek is our today's special guest, and we will be discussing about the Pak-German ties. We are having 70 years of friendship with Germany, and we will be discussing about the different projects which are being funded by the German embassy and the German government, especially in the Gilgit-Baltistan. And we have seen recently a video competition has been held by German embassy, and one of the winner of the competition was from Gilgit-Baltistan, and other projects like social health protection and water and sanitation projects which are being funded by the German embassy, especially in the Gilgit-Baltistan. We will be covering and we will be discussing with His Excellency German Ambassador. Sir, first of all, we welcome you to IBEX Media Network.
Thank you for having me.
Sir, being if you see you as a tourist also, because you are
I'm a tourist.
So this will be most probably a question that for how long you have been in Pakistan, and how did you see these scenarios and natural beauties of Gilgit-Baltistan?
Well, I came roughly 1.5 years ago. And I immediately was struck by the beauty of the landscape in Pakistan, all across the country. But and that this is the first time I came to Gilgit-Baltistan. I think out of I would say the beauty of the country as a whole, Gilgit-Baltistan still stands out. And frankly, I have to say, I was really mesmerized by the sheer beauty of the countryside. So it's very good to be here. And you are right, to some extent, my colleague and I, we visited some of our projects, German-funded projects, particularly in the Hunza Valley. But sometimes you felt like a tourist because it was such a lovely excursion, and we saw such a lovely landscape. So it was great to be here. You
must have been here in Pakistan also as well, and in different number of countries as well. For how many time you have been in Pakistan?
Well, it depends a bit, but generally you are here for 3 to 4 years. And then you are moving again to either another place abroad or back to Germany.
So if we asked you that how can we compare Pakistan with other countries, and especially Gilgit-Baltistan with other parts of Pakistan, how would you define?
Well, I mean, it's of course difficult, because if I now praise Gilgit-Baltistan over the top, and next time I come to Sindh or to Punjab, I will be cursed there. But from an objective point of view, I think, and I'm not alone here, I remember the Prime Minister being full of praise of the beauty and attractiveness of the landscape, and by the way, of the people of Gilgit-Baltistan. So I'm saying it's one of the most outstanding visits I made in Pakistan. It's great experience.
Germany has been a center of philosophy art, music, and a number of other things. So, in the ties of diplomacy, what do you think that these things are transferring from both countries? Or Germany is transferring these things of education and philosophy, art, music, and other things which are popular in Germany. Do you think in these ties of diplomacy, these things are transferring to Pakistan as well?
Well, I mean, what we want, I mean, in our cooperation with Pakistan, particularly when it comes to our development cooperation, is of course to make a contribution to the development of Pakistan, to alleviate people from poverty, to contribute to socio-economic progress. It's not that much that, you know, the main purpose is to transfer, you know, German wisdom or expertise, if there is any, to foreign countries. So in that sense, I think we have made quite some progress here. I was quite delighted with the successes scored in various projects we are performing here in Gilgit-Baltistan. I saw a number of them. I saw our intervention in power, and one of our main plank in our development cooperation is now climate change and fight against environmental degradation. So I saw a number of projects here, including hydropower projects, but I would say, almost more impressed by what we are doing in social intervention. I saw a number of projects, particularly pertaining to women, women's, you know, involvement and incorporation in the job market. And I saw carpentry run by women, for women. It was really impressive, and frankly, I haven't seen anything of that sort in the rest of Pakistan. We saw sort of cooperatives, also run by women, working in, you know, in the agricultural sector. I mean, trying to reduce, I would say, backlogs in the value chain, agricultural value chain, and also catering for environmental protection, planting trees and all these kind of things. So I was really impressed by that. So by and large, of course, you see also some shade. I mean, there's always the same in observing progress made in project implementation. But here I would say much more light than shade in the progress made so far. So I was quite pleased.
We have seen you here in Gilgit for almost 4 days, I think.
Oh, yeah.
You met Chief Minister of Gilgit-Baltistan, ministers, opposition leaders, and visited different valleys, Karakum International University. If we see these all things in the context of 70 years ties, what is the basic purpose of meetings and visiting?
Well, first of all, this is the first visit I'm performing here in Gilgit-Baltistan, so I had to see the dignitaries, particularly since the government, the provincial government, is a new one. I haven't seen the chief minister yet. Before I came, so I met him twice. He was kind enough even to invite us, my colleague Marian and myself, to dinner. It was lovely. He is an excellent cook, and he and he invited us for a really fabulous meal with local, I would say, local cuisine. And we had, of course, political discussions, and I took note of his great plans and ambition for Gilgit-Baltistan, but we also met with parliamentary leaders, Speaker of the Assembly,
yes.
Opposition leaders. We saw a number of ministers. So, of course, it is for the purpose of giving us an overview of political and societal intentions now here for the province, and to bring us on speed on what is to be expected here and what can be expected in the upcoming future.
If you come to the power projects and other projects being funded by the German government, especially in Gilgit-Baltistan, what type of projects Germany is funding to Gilgit-Baltistan or government of Gilgit-Baltistan?
Well, I already mentioned we are in various hydro power projects. I would say mid-size to small size, and although some of these projects are small size, I mean it can make, and it has already made, an impact to, you know, specific villages and valleys. So I mean, we visited a project yesterday. It's a rehabilitation measure of a project that had already been funded. So it needs some revamping, some rehabilitation. It produces only I think 2 megawatt of electricity, but it's really vital for the, you know, adjoining villages. So it makes a difference to concrete people, and that is what we are particularly interested in. Of course, you can talk about, you know, it's, I mean, if you you know, have to profile the energy demands of Gilgit-Baltistan as a whole. I mean, we cannot really, you know, make a big difference here. I mean, that has to be done by the big donors or by the, of course, by the government, the federal government, provincial government. But we can make a difference when it comes to individual communities and, you know, villages and valleys, and that we want to do. So we want to make a difference for concrete people, and I was quite pleased with what I saw. So I think it can be done. And that is, I think, also heartening to see.
Sir, we have seen youth from Gilgit won the documentary competition by German embassy. What was it's about, and is the German embassy going to enhance such things for extending to Gilgit-Baltistan or whole Pakistan?
Basically, it was a competition for the whole of Pakistan. The fact is that the two main winners of the competition was a short film competition on, I would say, environmental challenges, degradation, but also, you know, possibilities to make a difference, particularly on that field. And the two main winners of the competition, I would say by accident, hailed from Gilgit-Baltistan. And so we had a dinner yesterday evening, very impressive young people, and we talked about the aspirations, the ambition of the young generation of Gilgit-Baltistan, particularly when it comes to the environment.
Yes.
And I have to say, I was really impressed by the commitment and by the engagement of these people, and by their, I would say, by their capacity to translate what they, you know, somehow found on an intellectual basis into a very creative and imaginative, I would say, language and images. So I was these two short pieces, which, by the way, can be watched at the website of the German embassy, and I think also on the Facebook site. Exactly. Really, I can only everybody invite to look at them. It's great. Particularly, it's, I mean, sending the same message from very different angles. And it was great contribution. And we discussed yesterday, and we agreed to continue our cooperation with these two teams of filmmakers.
Over the celebration of 17 years ties and the relationship of Germany and Pakistan, on this day, what message you want to deliver to the people of Gilgit-Baltistan and the people of Pakistan?
Wow, 70 years, this is something. And
started from 51, I think.
Yes, 51, and basically this is a legacy of unbroken and quite close and amicable relationship. Of course, there were some ups and downs, but downs that would mean most probably, or I would say most palpably during the military rule in Pakistan. But by and large, we are entertaining very good relations, and the festivities around the October 15th, I mean, that is the exact date of the establishment of diplomatic relations, should reflect that. So we tried to go into the countryside. So we are not only in Islamabad, so there is a flagship event with the foreign minister, but we want to go to Lahore, we want to go to Karachi, we want to go to Peshawar, we will most probably go also to Gilgit, Baltistan, and having small scale, but I hope at least very memorable events showcasing the, I would say, full spectrum of German-Pakistan relations. That's not only politics, it's economic relationship. Of course, we have German business interests here. There are export interests, quite significant export interests of the Pakistani industry, textile, leather, but then there's cultural development. It's a very important aspect, as I said, and which very much is close to my heart, people to people. And that was the reason why I visited the university this morning, because that is actually the stuff from which true friendship is made. The contact between individual people. And that we want certainly to promote and foster by dint of this celebration as well.
Indeed, sir, it was our honor to host you in IBEX Media Network, and we thank you very much, and your team also. You saw the program of IBEX Media Network, and please give your feedback in the comment box. Thank you very much.